Imagine a power so profound it doesn't demand control, but thrives in release. Picture a strength that doesn't cling, but walks away with purpose. The Stoics, those timeless philosophers of resilience, understood this truth: the greatest freedom comes not from holding on, but from letting go. At WisdomWavesAura, we explore how to live with intention, and today, we dive into the Stoic art of detachment, a radical act of courage that reclaims your peace and redefines your strength. In a world obsessed with grasping, proving, and clinging, choosing to detach is a rebellion against chaos, a declaration that your energy is sacred, and a step toward a life aligned with your deepest values. Detachment, in the Stoic sense, isn't apathy or cold withdrawal. It's not about numbing your heart or shutting out the world. It's clarity, the kind that cuts through the noise like a blade. It's the inner stillness that lets you stand firm when everything around you screams for your attention. It's the wisdom to know what's truly yours and what was never meant to be. The Stoics taught that by releasing your grip on outcomes, approval, and attachments, you don't lose power, you gain it. You stop carrying burdens that don't belong to you, expectations that crush, relationships that drain, dreams that no longer fit. Every time you let go of what misaligns with your soul, you walk closer to what does. At WisdomWavesAura, we believe this practice isn't just philosophy, it's a way of life, a discipline that transforms how you move through the world. Epictetus, one of the Stoic greats, put it bluntly: some things are up to us, and some things are not. This simple truth is the foundation of detachment. Your thoughts, your choices, your effort, those are yours to command. But the approval of others, the outcome of your work, the behavior of those around you, those are not your territory. Trying to control them is like trying to hold water in your hands; it slips through, leaving you frustrated and empty. Detachment begins when you draw a line between what you can govern and what you can't. It's emotional armor, protecting you from the chaos of the world that's always shifting. When you stop tying your peace to things outside your control, you stop living in constant jeopardy. The weather outside no longer dictates the weather within. Think about how often you've suffered because you tried to own what wasn't yours. Maybe it was someone's opinion, a partner's actions, or the success of a project you poured your heart into. When you anchor your happiness to those things, you're at the mercy of forces that don't answer to you. Detachment isn't running from life, it's returning to your side of the line. It's focusing on your virtue, your reason, your intention, rather than trying to rewrite the world. At WisdomWavesAura, we often explore how to align with your core values, and the Stoic path shows us that this alignment brings profound relief. Imagine no longer begging for validation, no longer shaping your life around others' shifting preferences. You act, speak, and live from your truth, untethered from the need for applause. That's not arrogance, it's freedom. This freedom doesn't mean you stop caring. Detachment isn't disengagement, it's caring more wisely. A Stoic can love deeply and still walk away when love no longer reflects virtue. They can fight for justice with passion but release bitterness when the outcome isn't theirs to control. Detachment isn't about feeling less, it's about anchoring your emotions in principle, not outcomes. You feel the waves of life, but you remain the shore. You engage fully, present, committed, invested, but you don't chain your joy to what happens next. This is what separates detachment from indifference. Indifference says, I don't care. Detachment says, I'll do my best and accept what comes. One dismisses life, the other embraces it with clarity. Picture a warrior before battle, as we often discuss on WisdomWavesAura. They train, prepare, and fight with unwavering focus, but they don't tie their worth to victory. Their dignity lies in their effort, their conduct, their code. Win or lose, they stand tall because they acted in alignment with their values. This is the Stoic way: act with purpose, but release the need for reward. In modern life, this means detaching from ego while staying true to your mission. You work without obsessing over praise. You love without demanding reciprocation. You create without needing the world's approval. When you remove the desperation to be seen, what remains is pure intention, a quiet, unshakable focus on what's right. Walking away, in this sense, is not weakness, it's strength. It's not giving up, it's rising above. Sometimes, the most powerful choice is to leave a job that violates your values, a relationship that dims your spirit, or a community that demands you shrink to fit. The Stoics didn't endure erosion for the sake of appearances. They walked away with dignity, knowing peace comes from alignment, not submission. At WisdomWavesAura, we often talk about reclaiming your energy, and walking away is exactly that, an act of preservation, not escape. It's choosing your path over proving a point, valuing your peace over staying in the fight. But walking away isn't easy. It demands courage to step into the unknown, to grieve what was hoped for, to face the ache of letting go. You're not just leaving a situation, you're letting go of a version of your life that no longer fits. It's breaking the habit of comfort, even when that comfort was laced with pain. It's admitting the structure you've built is no longer sound. Yet, in that discomfort, you find purification. You make space for clarity, for healing, for something new that reflects who you're becoming. As we explore on WisdomWavesAura, this space is where growth begins, not in holding on, but in releasing what no longer serves. Detachment goes deeper than physical exit. It's psychological liberation. You can leave a job but still carry resentment. You can end a relationship but replay the pain. True freedom comes from letting go of the story, the narrative of victimhood, the fantasy of revenge, the loop of what if. Seneca warned that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. The stories we tell ourselves, about being wronged, about needing to win, become invisible chains. The Stoic observes these thoughts like a philosopher, not a prisoner. They question the script, challenge the assumptions, and rewrite the narrative from bitterness to growth. Instead of I was betrayed, it's I learned who to trust. Instead of I failed, it's I found a wiser path. At WisdomWavesAura, we emphasize rewriting these stories to empower, not trap, your spirit. Your energy is sacred, a truth we champion at WisdomWavesAura. The Stoics saw time and attention as irreplaceable assets, not to be squandered on conflict, gossip, or proving your worth to the wrong people. Every moment spent chasing hollow victories or explaining yourself to those who don't listen is a moment stolen from your purpose. Detachment is the dam that holds back this wasteful expenditure. It's curating your involvement, preserving your strength for what aligns with your values. This isn't selfishness, it's stewardship. You're not withdrawing from the world, you're protecting your purpose. When you stop leaking energy into what diminishes you, you create a sanctuary within, a space where clarity returns, creativity reignites, and wisdom grows. One of the greatest traps is the need to explain your detachment. The Stoic knows peace is its own justification. You don't owe clarity to those who thrive on confusion. You don't need to defend your boundaries to those who haven't earned your trust. Explaining often turns into pleading, entangling you in others' judgments. At WisdomWavesAura, we encourage speaking less and meaning more. Let your silence be your boundary, your absence your statement. Your exit doesn't need an audience to be valid. It doesn't require applause to be powerful. Sometimes, the strongest act is leaving the conversation unfinished, the door closed without fanfare. Silence, when chosen, is dignity in action. The Stoics understood that holding on isn't strength, it's stagnation. Clinging to what no longer fits, be it a relationship, a role, or a regret, is a slow erosion of your peace. As we often reflect on WisdomWavesAura, letting go isn't loss, it's liberation. It's refusing to let your freedom be shackled by emotional dependence or fear of the unknown. When you release what no longer nourishes, you create space for clarity, for healing, for a future unburdened by the past. Detachment isn't emptiness, it's readiness. It's clearing the field so something wiser can grow, a sacred pause before rebirth. Detachment also builds identity. Every time you walk away from what doesn't serve you, you carve out the shape of your truest self. You're not becoming less, you're becoming more. The noise falls away, the masks dissolve, and you stop performing for the crowd. At Wisdom Waves Aura, we believe this is where self-authorship begins. You stop being a character in someone else's story and become the narrator of your own. You rediscover what you value, what you believe, what your soul requires to thrive. You don't just react, you choose. You don't just exist, you decide. This is the quiet transformation of detachment, not disappearance, but definition. Emotional discipline is at the heart of this practice. The Stoic feels deeply but doesn't indulge endlessly. They see emotions as signals, not commands. Detachment creates space between stimulus and response, where wisdom lives. You grieve without unraveling, forgive without forgetting yourself, observe without being swept away. This distance sharpens empathy, letting you support others without absorbing their chaos. As we explore on Wisdom Waves Aura, it's about responding, not reacting, anchoring yourself in clarity, not being tossed by every slight or seduced by every compliment. Ultimately, detachment is the highest freedom. It's not a single choice but a daily practice of saying no to what misaligns, leaving what weakens, and walking your path even when misunderstood. True freedom, as the Stoics taught, comes not from getting everything you want, but from wanting only what you need. When you need less, attach less, and hold life with open hands, you suffer less. You stop chasing illusions and ground yourself in what's real. At Wisdom Waves Aura, we see this as the path to resilience, not because life gets easier, but because you stop being its hostage. The world will tempt you to reattach, to doubt, to look back. It will whisper that walking away is weakness, that silence is failure. But the Stoic chooses the higher road, quiet clarity, purposeful peace. You don't owe your presence to what depletes you. You don't need to finish what no longer aligns just because you started it. As we affirm on Wisdom Waves Aura, I release what I've outgrown. I walk toward my truth with open hands. My peace is sacred, my path is mine. Let this be your compass, guiding you back to yourself, where your power lives, not in holding on, but in rising free.